just finished making Death of a Salesman for Columbia Pictures release. It was a very great stage play, as you know, and I hope it will be a very fine motion picture. Of one thing you may rest assured. The performance of Frederick March in the role of Willy Loman is one of the really great and thrilling experiences you will find in a motion picture theater in the coming year. As a matter of fact, the entire idea of the production of Death of a Salesman represented a challenge to all of us. As a very great stage play, most certainly we knew we were faced with the idea of trying to duplicate and approximate the impact of the material, a play which has won every single major theatrical award with a record unmatched by any other piece of dramatic material. Yet, when we went into the research on Death of a Salesman, we found out after many weeks of research that the Willy Lomans of this world are fast becoming extinct. For Willy belonged to the lost tribe of drummers who used the credo of a smile and a shoe shine to be able to do business. Certainly today, this is far from enough. For the national sales executives tell us that there are over 3.5 million people making their living at the business of selling in this country today. More than that, from one end of the country to the other, men and women, young men and women, are being trained by our colleges and universities in the selling profession. At the College of the City of New York, for example, there are more than 600 students enrolled in courses in selling. Young people who are going to make more than just a job of salesmanship. Youngsters who will carve out a career of service in a profession that keeps the wheels of commerce and industry turning in our great American economic machine. They'll have a lot more than a smile and a shoe shine. Today, they receive a background of psychology, advertising, merchandising, market research, and industrial production. Today, the axiom holds: salesmen are made, not born. Here we are in a class in applied salesmanship conducted by Dr. J.S. Schiff.
To learn the fundamentals of a profession as up-to-date as selling must be, the instructor cannot shut himself up in an academic ivory tower. He must keep up with the outside world if he expects his students to do so. One way is through the use of the motion picture. And so today, we're going to do a sort of clinical job on the film Death of a Salesman. I know of nothing that might better impress upon you the new concept of the career that you have chosen for a life work than by showing you scenes from the story of Willy Loman, a man with an outmoded and unrealistic philosophy. In the first scene that we're going to see, Willy is about to lose his job.
Sure, business is definitely business. But I didn't become a salesman just for the money. But I had bigger opportunities. Years ago, my brother Ben asked me to go to Alaska and look after his timberlands for him. I'd almost decided to go when I ran onto a salesman in the Parker House. His name was Dave Singleman. 84 years old, and he drummed merchandise in 31 states. Old Dave used to go up to his room, you understand, put on his green velvet slippers, I'll never forget it, pick up the phone, call the buyers, without ever leaving his room at the age of 84. He made a living. Even when he died the death of a salesman. In his green velvet slippers, in the smoker of the New York, New Haven, and Hartford, going into Boston. Oh, hundreds of salesmen and buyers attended his funeral. Things were sad on a lot of trains for months after that. See, in those days, there was personality in it, Howard. There was respect and comradeship and gratitude. Today, it's all cut and dried. There's no chance for bringing friendship to bear or personality.
There is an object lesson in selling, if I ever saw one. Poor Willy lived in a dream world, admiring a man who worked in green velvet slippers and made a living just calling buyers on the phone without even leaving his hotel room. Willy says he had bigger opportunities. No young person today has a bigger opportunity than that offered by the profession of salesmanship. But he can't get by any better than Willy did without hard work. Then that pathetic excuse that Willy gives. No chance for bringing friendship or personality to bear. I want to assure you that no salesman ever made a living selling to his friends. And he needs a lot more than personality. He needs a thorough knowledge of his product, a real grasp of his customers' needs, and a belief that he's doing a service in bringing his product to his buyer. Willy Loman was being fired from a job. No one can fire you from a profession. In the next scene, Willy is trying to convince his brother that he is building a future with his company.
It isn't something you can feel in your fingers like timber, Ben, but it's there. I know it is. You take Vic, for instance, 18 years old without a penny to his name, and 3 great universities are begging for him. And from there, the sky's the limit. This is not what you do, Ben, but who you know. And the smile on your face. It's contacts, Ben. Contacts. The whole wealth of Alaska passes over the lunch table at the Commodore Hotel. And that's the wonder of this country, that a man can end with diamonds on the basis of being well-liked.
To comment on this scene, I should like to present to you the President of National Sales Executives, Mr. Robert A. Whitney. Mr. Whitney.
To me, this is a deeply moving scene. It portrays so graphically that which I've warned so many students, salesmen, and saleswomen against. It's not what you do, but who you know, Willy says. What a tragic misconception. Does a doctor get by on who he knows? It's what a doctor knows, what a lawyer, what a teacher knows that makes for success. And it's the same in the profession of selling. That's why you young people are studying the art and science of selling. That's why companies, businesses, will find it worthwhile to hire you, to welcome you as valuable additions to their staffs. A man can end with diamonds on the basis of being well-liked. No wonder poor Willy was such a failure. He just didn't have it. The background, the training, the preparation. He was a product of an era which happily has long since passed. His friend Charlie had a better grasp of reality, a more intelligent approach, the meaning of success about which poor Willy could only dream, without knowing the meaning of that dream.
The only thing you've got in this world is what you can sell. The funny thing is you're a salesman. You don't even know that.
I always tried to think otherwise, I guess. I always felt the man was impressive, well-liked, but nothing...
Why must everybody like you? Why must you always be impressive? I know a man with a lot of money, a millionaire. In a Turkish bath, he looks like a butcher. But with his pockets on, he's very well-liked.
Being well-liked and having a fine appearance is important in selling today. But there's a greater opportunity for each of you if you will continue your training, retraining, and gain a better knowledge of your products and your customers in the days ahead. That's the job for the salesman of today and the sales executive of tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. Whitney. Charlie was getting closer to the things you are learning than Willy in a lifetime of selling ever got. In the film Death of a Salesman, the star and the producer dramatize the very things that we are trying to teach you here at City College about salesmanship. That success in this field depends upon the new values of knowledge, of service, of forwarding not only oneself, but also contributing to the growth of the nation's economy. That selling is a professional field of endeavor, requiring extensive training. And finally, that nothing happens in this great country of ours until something is sold.
Death of a Salesman is a drama, a great human drama, applicable not only to Willy Loman, but to any man, doctor, lawyer, merchant, chief. I think that Willy Loman is definitely outmoded today, but his successor is the modern, progressive man and woman engaged in the business of selling. I hope you will see this film, Death of a Salesman.